When I left my job at Amtrak, I think I was on pace to make about $30 an hour. And now for most people, that would be, that's the dream, right? For most people, that's the dream. That's like, you know, nobody, why would you quit your job when you're making $30 an hour to go do something that you're not so sure about? You know what? Honestly, I understand why somebody would feel like, if I got a job paying me $35 an hour, if I got a job paying me $30 an hour, why should I leave that to go start a business where it's a possibility that I could succeed or not? And if I'm going to give anybody that kind of advice, I wouldn't be so quick to tell somebody to go, listen, when I quit my job, I had 2 daughters, I had a wife, and I had a mortgage, and I had a whole bunch of other bills that I had to worry about, right? But I had tested what I was getting ready to go into, what business that I was getting ready to do. I had already tested it enough to see that even though I might not make, even if I don't break even from what I was making on my job, but it's a good possibility that I can either come under, slightly under, or I can even get higher. So I tested the market first. I did something first before I decided, okay, I'm gonna walk away from my job. You know, and so I'm not telling nobody here to go quit your job that's paying you $25 an hour, $30 an hour, $35 an hour to start something that you have no idea about. Now, you can do it, and people have done it and have succeeded in doing it, but you got to use some wisdom. If you can, I would rather you stay on your job, test the market, test this idea that you have, start making some money. When you realize this is something that could be sustainable, then you say, okay, well, you know what? I'm done. Because when I walked away from my job, I was on pace to get paid about $30 an hour, right? And I said, you know what? This is why I'm hanging my hat. I had just got laid off. I got laid off for 6 months. By the time they called me back, I was like, I'm not going back, right? But before I made that decision, I had already tested what I was getting ready to go into. So don't leave your job and not test where you're going. Especially if you got other people that's depending on you, if you got family that's depending on you, if you got kids that's depending on you, if you got bills, you know, you want to make sure that whatever you get in whatever avenue that you're getting into, as far as like business, I'm not talking about going from one job to another. I'm talking about where you're getting ready to start a business from the ground up. You want to make sure that what you're doing is sustainable, that is going to be able to sustain your family. That is wisdom. Now, there are some of us that's not going to take that advice, and you're going to take that leap of faith. You're going to leave your job behind, and you're going to go start something new. And I applaud you for it. This is not a video to discourage you from doing that, but really what I'm telling you is, for most people, this would not work. Amen? Most people, this would not work. To leave your job and then go start something new when you got bills and you got a family that you got to take care of, is a very dangerous thing to do. And for most people, it would not work, because most businesses that people start will fail. So for most people, what I would say, my prescription for you is to, listen, man, test that thing out. Test it out. Make sure it's working. Make sure it's good. You don't have to make the same amount. You don't have to wait to make the same amount. Look at the projection based on what you're making now. If you love what you've seen, I want you to subscribe to this channel. And you know what that tell me? That tell me you want to hear my voice. The second thing I want you to do for me, I want you to leave me a comment. And the reason why I want you to leave me a comment is because I want to hear your voice.